Imagine you're walking in the middle of a desert. The hot wind is hitting your face, the sand beneath your feet feels like fire, and all around you there's nothing but emptiness. And then suddenly, you see something in the distance. Massive structures rising from the golden sand. Not one, not two, but three gigantic pyramids standing tall, as if they've been guarding the desert for thousands of years. These are the Pyramids of Giza. And the question that still confuses people even today is simple. Who built them? How were they built? And most importantly, why were they built? Some say humans did it, others still believe maybe aliens had a hand in it. But the real story is even more fascinating. Let's travel back about 4,500 years ago to the land of ancient Egypt. Back then, Egypt was a powerful kingdom built around the Nile River. The Nile wasn't just a river, it was life itself. It gave them water, food, fertile soil for farming, and a safe route for travel. And the rulers of Egypt were called pharaohs. But pharaohs weren't considered just kings. People believed they were gods on earth. That's right, their word was law, and their power came not only from ruling but also from religion. Now pharaohs had one very strong belief: life doesn't end with death. They believed that after death, their soul would rise again and live in another world. But for that new life, they needed a safe home, a palace, a fortress where their body and their treasures could remain untouched for eternity. And that's how the idea of the pyramids was born. The most famous one is the Great Pyramid of Giza, built by Pharaoh Khufu around 2600 BC. Bro, just imagine this. Today we have cranes, trucks, bulldozers, and high-tech machines. Yet even then, building something so massive is nearly impossible. But 4,500 years ago, with no machines, no electricity, and no advanced tools, they built something that is still standing as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. So, who exactly built the pyramids? Many people think they were built by slaves, but history tells us a slightly different story. Yes, there were slaves, but most of the workers were actually farmers and laborers. When the Nile River flooded and farming was impossible, these farmers were recruited to work on the pyramid. They were paid with food, water, and small rewards. It wasn't luxury, but it wasn't torture either. It was like a duty for their pharaoh. Now comes the biggest mystery. How were the pyramids actually built? To build Khufu's pyramid, they used over 2.3 million limestone and granite blocks. Each block weighed between 2 to 15 tons. Can you imagine moving something that heavy without machines? The workers dragged these blocks on sledges, used wooden rollers, and built massive ramps. Some historians say they made straight ramps, others believe they built spiral ramps around the pyramid. And of course, there's always the alien theory. But the truth is, it was pure human determination, planning, and teamwork. Just think, millions of blocks, perfectly cut and placed so tightly that even a single sheet of paper can't fit between them. That level of precision 4,500 years ago is mind-blowing. And the design wasn't random. The pyramid's shape had meaning. Its pointed tip represented a path to the sky, a connection between the pharaoh and the gods. And when the sun's rays hit the polished limestone surface, the pyramid would shine like a giant beacon in the desert. Inside the pyramid, things get even more interesting. Secret tunnels, hidden chambers, and traps were built to protect the pharaoh's tomb. Pharaoh Khufu's mummy was placed in the king's chamber along with gold, jewelry, weapons, furniture, and even food. Why food? Because they believed the pharaoh would need it in the afterlife. But the wealth inside the pyramids attracted thieves. That's why the Egyptians built traps, false doors, and confusing passageways to stop robbers. Still, over the centuries, much of the treasure was looted. But even after thousands of years, the massive structure itself could not be destroyed. It took around 20 to 30 years to build just one pyramid. Imagine, 3 decades of non-stop work by tens of thousands of workers, all just to build one structure for one man. And when it was finally complete, the Great Pyramid of Giza stood almost 480 feet tall, the tallest man-made structure in the world for nearly 4,000 years. Time passed, pharaohs died, new dynasties came, but the pyramids never left. Looters came and went, sandstorms raged, empires rose and fell, but the pyramids stood firm. 4,500 years later, they are still there, silently watching over the desert. And today, millions of people travel across the world just to stand in front of them. Some stare in awe, some wonder about the engineering, and others still whisper, did humans really build this? Or was there something more? But one thing is certain, the pyramids are not just tombs. They are proof of human imagination, teamwork, and the hunger to achieve the impossible. They remind us that even thousands of years ago, humans could dream big and make that dream a reality. So the next time you see a picture of the pyramids, remember this. They are not just piles of stone in the desert. They are a message from the past, a message that says, if humans could do this thousands of years ago, then what's stopping us today?